Okay, guys, I need to talk about something. I need to talk about something I feel. That is going to be, why do people hate Jewish people? Now, anti-Semitism has been around for literally thousands of years. Anti-Semitism has been around since the days of even before the days of Moses and Egypt. When Moses, he had the stick or whatever, he parted the Red Sea, they all walked across, that shit, right? So, the Jewish people, there's been a hatred against them for many, many years. And I don't think the hatred of the Jewish people in the past 2 centuries is anything new. It's been a problem for a long time. Now, the more modern anti-Semitism has its roots in the Middle Ages, because there's a whole cavalcade of just sources you can pull on this, but one of the biggest things is that I believe it was something about Christians at that time couldn't hold money or something, or they couldn't be bankers or accountants or whatever, but Jewish people could. So that gave the impression that Jewish people were greedy and just all about money. That's where the stereotype of the penny pinching Jewish person comes from. The greedy Jewish banker comes from, So, yeah. And there are a decent number of Jewish people who do start jobs like banking and accounting and all that, but I wouldn't wager that there's necessarily more Jewish people in there than, say, a Protestant or a Catholic or a Lutheran or a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Sikh or a Muslim or an atheist or an agnostic or a Zoroastrian or whatever. I'm sure there's a relative number of all these different types of religions in fucking accounting and shit. But the stereotype is that Jewish people are greedy, penny-pinching fucking people. And I don't believe it to be true, but that is a stereotype. So that's where the stereotype of the greedy Jew comes from, right? So, then we have, let me get further into the modern day. Now, I could go straight to Holocaust, and that might be where some people will go to. Actually, you know what, we can even go further, we can dial it back a little bit further. 1290, this is just a piece of information I learned about a few months ago. I thought I'd mention it. 1290 was when I think it was King Charles, he expelled the Jews from England. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I just thought that was just a historical, a moment in history of anti-Semitism, mass anti-Semitism, expelling all Jewish people from England. I just figured I'd mention that. So let me get back to what I was saying. So we could skip right straight to the Holocaust, but actually I want to mention something before that. So in 1915, there was we're going to go down to Atlanta, Georgia, right? There was a man known as Leo Frank, and he was a Jewish owner, I believe, of a company that makes like those like those metal tips on erasers that you put or not erasers, those metal tips on pencils that you put the eraser in. I believe he made those, or he made the pencils like that you put whatever. I believe it was making that. So he had this shop, and he was originally from Brooklyn. He was a New York Jew, from Brooklyn, right? Yeah, I think they call him a Yankee, whatever. So he's originally from Brooklyn. For whatever reason, he's in Atlanta, Georgia, right? So Leo Frank goes to, he lives in, oh shit, bird. So he has, so he has his pencil tip making factory, and then there's this other girl who worked in the factory, 13 years old. Her name was Mary Fagan, right? So Mary Fagan was, like I said, a 13-year-old girl. She lived in the South. One night, a security guard, I believe his name was Newt or something, Newt Lee, whatever. So this man, I believe he was black, but that's not important. So he finds the girl, the young girl, brutally raped and murdered. Her corpse essentially, and based on observation, look at this old raggedy ass chair. Based on the observation, he could tell that she was raped and murdered pretty brutally. So that happens, yada yada yada. It ended up that Leo Frank, who had talked to Miss Mary Fagan previously, was suspected of being the one who raped and murdered her. Now, people look back at the trial today and find that it was, and they found him guilty, of course. They see that the trial was very based on anti-Semitism, very unfair trial, and that a very good chance that he did not rape or murder Mary Fagan. It was someone else. I don't remember what his name was, but they suspected this other guy raped and murdered her, but I can't remember the name now. Anyway, a mayor or whatever pretty much suicides his own career, pardons Frank or whatever, Leo Frank and whatever. So he then ends up getting life in prison, right? So, and I'm probably telling the story horribly. I really recommend looking into the story of Leo Frank. It's an incredibly interesting story. So what ends up happening is the KKK, and this along with the 1915 release of Birth of a Nation, is what is believed to have kickstarted the second wave of the KKK by D.W. Griffith, I believe, was the one who made Birth of a Nation. Kicked up the second, because there's three waves of the KKK to recognize. There was the first one, which was right after the Civil War ended during Reconstruction. Then you have the second wave, which started in 1915. And then you have the third wave, which started maybe 2 or 3 years after World War II. Is when that third wave of the KKK. And that's has been going up until now. If you want, I guess you could say we have a fourth wave. This is day one, but the academic ones I've heard is that there's 3 waves of the Ku Klux Klan, and they're not a fun race of people, not a fun group of people, if you know anything about them. So, Leo Frank is, he's in prison or whatever. The Ku Klux Klan break into the prison. They take him and they lynch him. They fucking murder the fucking guy. And it's brutal. There's actually pictures online. I've seen them. They're fucking awful. But yes, they murder him for being supposedly murdering the girl, but essentially being Jewish. America has a dirty, disgusting history of anti-Semitism. So, that's Leo Frank's story. Rest in peace, Leo Frank. There's a really good musical. It's called Parade, which is about the whole story of Leo Frank, whatever. I really recommend you look into it, because it's a really beautiful story. A great play. It gets really fucking hard at times, but it's a beautiful play. It really is. Definitely, if you have time, listen to it. I don't know if you can find a cast recording, but definitely, give it a listen, because it's a beautiful play. It really is. So, after this, Leo Frank, there's one more event, which I'm sure you all know of, called Holocaust. And Holocaust was the event where the NSDAP, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, who had gained power in Germany, led by a man known as Adolf Hitler, systematically murdered 6 million, 11 million people, which 6 million of which were, 11 to 12, whatever, million people, but whom 6 million of which were German. And it's hard, but it's a horrible event, and there's not much I can really say about it that hasn't already been said, but it's just a fucking one of the I think the Holocaust and World War II in general, but mainly the Holocaust, it shows like the worst of humanity, and the worst that humanity can be, the lowest we can drop down to. So for my last thing I'll talk about is, and of course the Holocaust was a horrible event and it happened. People who fucking deny the Holocaust are fucking idiots. Smooth brains with their heads up their asses. And racist as well. And anti-Semitic, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, all that nasty stuff. It also Islamophobic and all that. So, last one is the last thing that we're talking about is more modern examples of anti-Semitism, which are things like the multiple synagogue shootings that we've had in the past few years, such as wasn't it Philadelphia? Or no, it was Pittsburgh, wasn't it? I don't remember. I'm sorry. It's been 2 years or so since this happened. We've had shootings such as in Pittsburgh and such, where it's just anti-Semitic, and it's just anybody who doesn't think that anti-Semitism is still a thing is an uneducated. I won't say you're an idiot, but you're just an uneducated fool. So. And one more thing I'll talk about is that people try to claim that Jewish people are the elites and they run society and they run the media. Most commonly these are Nazis, right? Nazis who say this shit. All I'm gonna say is that some Jewish people are the elites, some Jewish people are in positions of power, no more than Christians and such. It's bad when anybody is in the elite. Anybody is bad and has a lot of money, but not just Jewish people. There's all kinds of bad people in power of any type of religion. And that's about all I have to say. I'm starting to trip because this is some horrible shit I'm talking about, but why does anti-Semitism exist? Many reasons. Hate, fucking prejudice, us against them mentality, just fucking think their religion's better. People just don't understand. People just want something to hate, something to demonize, to make them feel better. That's about it. Just hate. That's why. That's all I have to say. If you watched to the end, I hope you enjoyed this video. And, yeah. Fuck anti-Semitism. Fuck Nazis. And also, Jewish people are awesome. I'm just gonna say right now. Jewish people are funny. Jewish people made funny movies. In fact, I'm gonna go watch Blazing Saddles right now, which is directed by Mel Brooks, a Jewish man. But, yeah. Jewish people are awesome. Nazis suck. Viva la vida.